The galaxy didn't notice people like me. I was just a janitor, the lowest rung on the ladder, scraping grime off station floors and unclogging recycling units when some diplomat's aide couldn't be bothered to push the right button. My name is Caleb Ward. Human, 34. Single father to a 9-year-old daughter named Rosie. We lived on the edge of Cryo Station, a sprawling diplomatic hub orbiting the trade routes between human colonies and the alien Ketheri Empire. For most people, Cryos was a gleaming jewel of commerce. For me, it was a place where I hoped my daughter could get an education, maybe a shot at something better than I ever had. Every morning, after making sure Rosie was off to the station's small academy, I went to work pushing a cleaning drone across marbled corridors and muttering under my breath about sticky-handed diplomats. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't even dignified. But it was honest and it fed us. And then one evening, after a double shift, I stumbled into the kind of trouble that changes a man's life forever. The encounter. The maintenance sector wasn't a place anyone of status visited. The air recyclers hummed constantly, and the heat exchangers groaned. That night, while hauling a broken purifier back to storage, I caught sight of movement near one of the empty access tunnels. At first, I thought it was another scavenger rat. But then I heard the wheezing cough. Curled against the wall was an alien elder, thin, cloaked in ragged robes, his scaled skin flaking with hunger. His eyes were cloudy with age, but there was something sharp beneath them. He looked at me with equal parts fear and defiance. "Leave me," he rasped, voice barely a whisper. "I will not beg." My gut twisted. On Cryos, elders without credits often slipped through the cracks. Most folk ignored them. After all, who would risk trouble helping a stranger of another species? But then I thought of Rosie. I thought of my little girl, always asking why people walked past the beggars near the station's outer rings without even looking. I set the purifier down and crouched. "You hungry?" He tried to turn away, dignity warring with desperation. His pride wouldn't let him ask, but his trembling body told me enough. I pulled the ration bar I'd been saving for my late dinner out of my pocket. "Here," I said, pressing it into his hand. "It's not much, but it'll fill you." The elder hesitated, then tore into it like a man who hadn't eaten in days. I stayed crouched, watching, making sure he didn't choke. "Why?" he croaked finally, crumbs clinging to his chin. "Because you needed it more than me," I said simply. "And because my daughter's waiting for me at home. If she were starving, I'd hope someone would help." The old alien studied me with an intensity that made me shift uncomfortably. Then he gave a slow nod. "You are unusual, human." I smiled tiredly. "I've been called worse." The Watcher. What I didn't know then was that we weren't alone. High above, concealed in the lattice of pipes and shadows of the observation vents, someone was watching. A tall figure cloaked in royal silver armor, her eyes burning with a strange mix of sorrow and awe. The Empress of the Ketheri Empire. And the starving elder I'd just fed. Her father, the former emperor, long thought lost in the wars and presumed dead. But I wouldn't learn that for days. A father and a daughter. The next morning, Rosie noticed me skipping breakfast. Kids are sharper than they look. "Dad," she frowned, pushing her plate toward me. "You didn't eat." I tousled her hair. "I'll grab something at work. You eat." I didn't tell her I'd already given my food away. Didn't tell her that part of me worried I'd just fed someone who'd pick my pockets the moment I turned around. But the truth. I couldn't shake the old alien's eyes. Something in them lingered with me. Over the next week, I kept finding excuses to walk by that same access tunnel. Each time the elder was there. Each time I shared what I could spare. He never begged, never asked, but he always accepted with quiet dignity. And sometimes after he ate he spoke. He told me of stars I'd never seen, battles long past, mistakes that haunted him. I thought he was just a veteran of the wars, some forgotten soul abandoned by time. "You carry much weight for one so young," he said to me one evening. "Yet you give freely." "Why?" Shrugged. "Because I know what it feels like to have nothing. And because Rosie deserves to grow up seeing kindness, not cruelty." The old alien's eyes softened. "Your daughter, she is fortunate." I laughed. "I'm the fortunate one. She's the reason I keep moving." He nodded slowly, as though testing each word before speaking. "I once had a child too. Fierce, stubborn. She carried a crown heavier than I ever wished for her. I thought it was just the ramblings of an old man. I didn't realize he spoke of the Empress herself. The summons happened 3 nights later. I was walking Rosie back from her academy when a detachment of Ketheri guards blocked our path. Their armor gleamed, their spears humming with energy. Rosie clutched my hand tightly. "Caleb Ward," the captain barked. Yeah. You are summoned." "Summoned? By who?" They didn't answer. Instead, they ushered us through guarded corridors until we stood before massive obsidian doors carved with imperial sigils. The doors opened. Inside was the Empress herself. Regal. Towering. Her silver crest shimmered like starlight, her golden eyes unblinking. Rosie gasped, pressing close to me. I dropped to one knee, heart hammering. "Your Majesty, I think there's been some mistake." "No mistake," she said, her voice low and commanding. "Rise, human." I obeyed, though my knees shook. The Empress stepped closer, studying me with unnerving intensity. "You gave food to a starving elder. You showed him compassion when others would not. Do you know who he is?" My mind scrambled. "No. Just someone who needed help." Her expression softened, just slightly. "That someone is my father, the former emperor of the Ketheri, thought dead for decades." My jaw dropped. Rosie gasped again. The Empress turned to the shadows, and from them the old man emerged. Cleaned, robed, no longer hunched in weakness but standing tall with quiet dignity. He looked at me with the same piercing eyes as before. "You see, daughter," he said to her, "this is the human I spoke of, the one who offered kindness without knowing who I was." I blinked between them. My voice cracked. "Wait, you're serious?" "I fed the Emperor." The elder chuckled, a sound like gravel. "Ex-Emperor, now merely a father, and a man in your debt." The weight of kindness. The Empress dismissed her guards, leaving only us in the grand chamber. She circled me slowly, like a predator studying prey. "You gave freely when you had little," she said. "You treated my father as an equal when others spat at him. Tell me, Caleb Ward, why?" I swallowed hard. "Because it was the right thing to do. Because nobody deserves to starve." Her golden eyes burned into me. Then, to my shock, she knelt, kneeling before me, the most powerful woman in the sector. Rosie's grip on my sleeve tightened in disbelief. "You have honored the Ketheri throne more than many nobles," she said solemnly. "For that, I owe you a debt." I stammered, utterly lost. I don't want anything, Your Majesty. Just let me go back to my daughter. My job your daughter will never want," she interrupted. "She will be educated in the finest schools of Empire. You will have security, home, and respect.